Adam, the White Hair Master. Season 2. Episode 60. In the previous episode, we followed Adam to a village quite far from the city to find out the cause of the death of a 10-year-old boy. On the way back, Adam met a young man with a state of mindlessness. According to Adam, this person was possessed by a fairy dog. After meeting for a while, Adam successfully expelled the fairy dog from the man's body. But this result did not last long. Soon the fairy dog returned to the young man's body and turned him back into a naive, inferior person. With the strange and constantly changing expressions of the young man standing in front of her, Sarah felt extremely strange and suspicious. Since she couldn't see the fairy dog, Sarah was confused about what the man was going through. This time he repeated his explanation. He emphasized that this man had been possessed by a fairy dog, so it was understandable that his mind was not ordinary. But with Adam, it was different. He completely foresaw this. There was no point in saying anything at this point because, basically, he couldn't hear anymore. While Adam and Sarah were talking and Adam was constantly thinking about how to deal with this, suddenly a voice came from behind the two. Turning around, Adam and Sarah noticed a man walking toward them. This person did not wait for the time to approach but hurriedly warned, saying that the young man in front of them was a madman and extremely dangerous. He advised the two to stay away from this person to avoid danger. Because someone else appeared and knew the background of the crazy young man, Adam decided not to follow him anymore. Taking this opportunity, the crazy young man immediately found a way to escape from Adam's clinging. He did not choose to follow the big road before him but threw himself into a highly dense grass by the roadside, laughing and running with great pleasure. Watching until the young man's shadow disappeared, Adam began to turn around and ask about the person who had just arrived. He wanted to find out the twists and turns behind this. Initially, people in the countryside were straightforward, so after hearing Adam's questions, the man who had just arrived did not hide anything but told Adam everything he knew. Accordingly, the young man was not born crazy. He has been in this situation for many years. Previously, he was an extremely energetic and intelligent young man, suddenly becoming crazy after only a short time, making everyone look at him with regret. He is not talkative, but once he encounters things that Adam feels he can help with, he certainly won't pass up any opportunity. So Adam asked the man standing in front of him the way to the young man's house. Since he was from the same village, of course, this man knew the madman's house. He also guessed that something must have happened between the three of them, but from Adam's politeness, he guessed that the matter was not too serious, so he happily accepted. For the convenience of directions, Adam invited the man to join him in the car to return to the village. Of course, the man happily accepted the offer. Because it is a relatively poor rural area, having a car going into the village attracts many people's attention. At such a late hour, it makes people in the village pay more attention. Some people couldn't hold back their curiosity. They tried to lean forward to look in the direction the car was going and then turned to talk about the purpose of coming here of the people in the car. Not paying attention to the curious eyes of the villagers, the car still slowly followed the man's instructions. Looking at this man's way of giving directions, Adam guessed that he was an acquaintance of the mad young man's family. And of course, as soon as the car stopped at a house near the end of the village, the man opened the car door and got out. As he approached the gate, he called out the name of the owner of the house and announced that someone was looking for him. After the man's call, from behind the door came the sound of footsteps. This person repeatedly said that the person outside the door waited a moment and would come out immediately. This person is a middle-aged man, approximately 50 years old. He was Harvey, the father of the madman Adam had encountered earlier. The gate slowly opened, and Mr. Harvey turned his weary eyes toward the guests. Before Mr. Harvey could speak, the man leading the way informed Mr. Harvey that two people were looking for him. This person said goodbye to everyone and left. After saying goodbye to the man, Mr. Harvey turned to look at the two guests in front of him. Through his appearance and especially the car parked on the street, Mr. Harvey guessed that his son must have caused something, so now the two guests come to claim compensation. Initially, this was not strange to him anymore. Hence, Mr. Harvey repeatedly apologized and explained that his son was mentally unstable, hoping the two of them would forgive him. Seeing Mr. Harvey's somewhat pitiful expression, Adam hastily explained. With a familiar smile, he explained that his purpose in coming here was not what Mr. Harvey had mistakenly thought. Adam also made it clear that he wanted to find out why the young man became so crazy. Maybe he could help something. After hearing what Adam said, Mr. Harvey breathed a sigh of relief, not to mention hearing the young man in front of him say that he could help his son. Mr. Harvey's attitude immediately brightened up. Not letting the two guests have to stand talking outside the door for too long, Mr. Harvey hastily invited the two into the house to drink tea and then talk. Following Mr. Harvey into the house, Adam and Sarah were immediately impressed with the surroundings, especially Sarah. Sarah was originally a neat and clean person, so the musty smell entered her nose and made her frown, which confirmed that this house had not been cared for by a woman for a long time. Ignoring the inconvenience they saw, Adam and Sarah approached the sofa and sat down. Gradually, Sarah got used to the smell in the room, no longer feeling uncomfortable. Waiting for the two guests to sit still, Mr. Harvey immediately ran to boil water to make tea for the guests. Looking at the host's dynamic and somewhat awkward posture, Adam and Sarah could only smile at each other. Perhaps this house had not had guests for a long time. After more than 10 minutes, finally, in the hands of the two guests, there were 2 cups of fragrant tea with slight smoke. Holding a cup of tea in his hand, Adam took a small sip and began to talk. He invited Mr. Harvey to sit down and began to ask about the condition of the crazy young man. He did not know when his son had such symptoms. The little excitement on Mr. Harvey's face vanished at Adam's question. With a sigh of despair, he began to tell the story, according to which his son began to suffer from it quite a long time ago since he was 12 years old. While drinking tea, Adam listened to Mr. Harvey's story, occasionally interrupting him to explain points he still did not understand. Through Mr. Harvey's story, Adam began to piece everything together. Suddenly he asked Mr. Harvey about a white dog. He also reminded Mr. Harvey to think carefully and answer because this is important. The reason Adam asked that was because the fairy who possessed the body of Mr. Harvey's son was a cultivated white dog. Sure enough, Adam's guess was utterly correct because he just heard Adam ask about the white dog. Mr. Harvey's expression immediately changed, even a slight panic and fear. When the excitement was over, Mr. Harvey began to tell the story of how he had killed a white-haired dog precisely 10 years ago. In a sad voice, Mr. Harvey told Adam and Sarah the story of 10 years ago. Mr. Harvey was involved in killing a dog because there was a reason. At that time, Mr. Harvey owned a shop specializing in butchering cats and dogs to supply meat to stores in the area. Although he specializes in slaughtering cats and dogs, the number of cats killed is minimal. Mr. Harvey is the leading dog meat business. Everyone knows that dogs have been man's loyal friends for a long time, but the number of people who consider dog meat a favorite is not small. If there is supply, there will be demand. Many people are willing to stand out and buy poor dogs from all over the world and bring them to slaughter to sell to pubs. Mr. Harvey is also one of them. Although he knows this is not very good, having money to care for his family is the fastest way without much effort. Like that, daily, many traders collect dogs from around the world to sell to Mr. Harvey. In this area is not only Mr. Harvey but also a few other shops that also sell dog meat. However, regarding slaughter volume, Mr. Harvey's store is the largest. He kills more than 20 dogs daily to supply enough goods for the whole region. As usual, the merchant brought the dog he had just bought for Mr. Harvey that morning. As soon as he saw the trader, Mr. Harvey loudly blamed this person for delivering him an unsatisfactory shipment a few days ago. When Mr. Harvey complained, the trader also showed no mercy. As soon as he brought the cigarette to his mouth and lit it, he began grumbling. According to him, this area now doesn't have as many dogs as before. To get the goods, he has to go a long way to collect them, so when they bring them back, they lose weight as inevitable. But this time, he assures Mr. Harvey that the goods are excellent. Hearing that, Mr. Harvey went to the cage placed nearby to check. As Mr. Harvey approached the giant cage with many dogs inside, he immediately noticed one dog. Because this dog's coat is entirely white, there is not a single hair of a different color, which is very rare. He has been in this profession for a long time, but it is not always possible for Mr. Harvey to meet such a special dog. From the dog's appearance, Mr. Harvey knew that its quality was excellent, but there was only one thing he didn't like: the dog was too old. Mr. Harvey winced briefly and then grumbled at the trader. He didn't understand why he brought this dog to him. To Mr. Harvey's displeasure, the merchant lit another cigarette and spoke to comfort Mr. Harvey. In his opinion, the dog was old. Once the meat has been slaughtered, someone will definitely buy it. Mr. Harvey doesn't have to worry about this. Although a little dissatisfied, he did not want to lose the opportunity to have this white dog. In the end, he still decided to buy it. Looking at the old and frail appearance of the dog, Mr. Harvey was afraid that if he left it for a day or two, the dog would succumb to it and die. By that time, the meat quality would be significantly reduced, so he decided to deal with this poor dog first. Holding the tongs in his hand, Mr. Harvey lifted the dog out of the cage, his mouth still grumbling, to ask the dealer for a discount. Because Mr. Harvey often buys large quantities of goods, the merchant happily accepts. He even ran to help Mr. Harvey. After holding the poor dog tightly, Mr. Harvey shouted loudly to the merchant to open the lid of the large cauldron behind him. This cauldron is the method Mr. Harvey used to finish off the poor dogs. This method is quick but also extremely cruel. As for the poor dog, it also seemed to sense death approaching. Its eyes were closed, and suddenly there were 2 tears in the corners of its eyes as if it were crying. Despite seeing the dog's pitiful expression, neither Mr. Harvey nor the merchant paid attention. As soon as the merchant took the cauldron lid back a few steps, Mr. Harvey decisively threw the poor dog into the boiling cauldron, acting without hesitation. As soon as the dog's body touched the hot water, the poor dog immediately struggled violently and cried out in pain. Seeing the scene before him, especially recalling the dog's crying expression, Mr. Harvey did something he had never done before. He loudly said towards the cauldron that this is his job, and although it is a bit cruel, he still has to feed his family. There is no other way. To prevent boiling water from splashing due to the dog's struggle, Mr. Harvey quickly put the lid on the cauldron. The merchant quickly ran to the side and brought a large stone to block it. This person has seen Mr. Harvey do this many times and knows what to do. In the boiling cauldron, the poor dog continued to struggle in despair. But even if it struggled harder, it was useless because the lid was blocked by a large stone. Mr. Harvey chose this method because he works alone. Using this method, when the poor dogs struggle in the cauldron, their hair will automatically fall out, saving Mr. Harvey a lot of time. Soon the cauldron was quiet again, and the poor dog inside was dead and could no longer struggle. Precisely timed, Mr. Harvey used a large hook to pull the dog out. It no longer had a hair on it. In this way, Mr. Harvey killed countless dogs. But he did not expect that this act of his was about to cause a massive disaster for himself and his family.